Welcome to Exploring Curiosities with the Unbridled Woman, the podcast where curiosity knows no bounds. My guest today is the beautiful Tammy Brunson, a certified energy healer and coach, guiding amazing souls like you to release trauma energetically and reprogram your mind to consciously create the reality you deserve. Our thoughts weave a network in our brains, causing our bodies to run on autopilot. But here's the magic. When we allow those neurons to rewire, we can create the life we truly want. It's all about surrendering to our natural state of being rather than doing. And in doing so, we can tap into our powerful I am feminine empress energy. So join us today on this journey to discover how embracing our true selves can transform our lives. Welcome, Tammy. I'm so happy you are here with me today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate being here.
Yeah, we had an amazing chat a couple days ago, and I got to learn some about your story. And I know there are going to be people who can relate. And like we discussed, if there's just one soul out there that gets this message, then we've completed our task for today. So it's my pleasure to offer a platform for women like ourselves, like you, to get your voice out there. I believe everybody has a story. Everybody has a message. So we're going to tune into our antennae here and see what we can receive. So tell me a little bit about your backstory.
Sure, I'd love to. So, my backstory, a lot of times in these interviews, it starts with my injury. But I think it goes way before the injury, because before the injury is when I was trapping, all the emotions were trapping through divorce, through just trying to become my unique self, failures, and maybe not meeting expectations. And I know I was really rough on myself with the divorce because I was raised in a religious background that, marriages are supposed to stay together. And most people that were in my church that I went to, that, it was very prominent that they were married for 20, 30 years. And so when I experienced divorce, I was very hard on myself. I'm my worst critic. And I think that this just created a lot of trapped emotion in me, a lot of shame, a lot of anger, frustration, just a lack of empowerment. And so I kind of liken that sometimes to our higher soul needs to grab a tow truck and get us off the dirt road that we took a path on and bring us back to our golden brick road that will align us with our piece of the puzzle and finish filling up our toolkit so we can be authentically who we were meant to be. So for me, that's what my injury is more about. When I had my accident, I call that the tow truck. I was working at an airport, and I was working very late night shifts because I was a single mom and my kids would sleep. I needed benefits, and the airport job was mostly just for my medical, my dental, and I like the travel benefits too. So I was working a real late night flight, and I was out on the tarmac walking the back way to the terminal to go board an airplane. And when I did, a gal that they would park the tugs because it was so late at night. This is like 1 a.m. So they'd be parking the tugs that they're not going to use anymore. And so one of the tugs that pushes back airplanes circled around and just flat ran me over from behind. And the radio that I had to communicate with others flew off of me and was not within reach. And she was just a young gal and got scared, parked the tug, hopped off, and hopped on another tug. So,
my God, basically a real hit and run.
Yeah, a real hit and run, and the tug was parked on my left leg for a very long time. I had no way of communicating with anybody. The tarmac was completely isolated at the time. Not very many people out there, except for there was a huge FedEx plane that was so loud. And so, after finally the plane was not getting boarded, I had people come look for me. And so then basically what that resulted in is a really bad crush injury where everything was just smashed together in my left leg from the knee down. And this left me with my leg being about 5 times the size from the knee down, including my foot, and very low blood flow going to the leg, and black and blue. And the pain on the pain Richter scale that doctors use to measure pain was above childbirth. So that's how painful this was. It's a syndrome of a crush injury that your foot and your leg is just pounding all the time, real bad nerve pain. So this resulted in many surgeries, an immense amount of medication, I went to so many doctors and specialists, and no one had the magic cure, because I did do a series of surgeries where they go in and decompress the leg and try to save some of the blood vessels and all the arteries that got smushed. That resulted in is surgery after surgery after surgery. And I felt like I was not getting anywhere ahead. I was just, and my life so traumatically changed as a single mom. I loved hiking, swimming, surfing, and now I'm in bed. I'm in an electric scooter if I wanted to go somewhere. It just was a 180-degree turn in my life, and it left me in a really depressed state. And I began just really I'm a very hopeful person. So for a few years, I was very hopeful. Oh, this will turn around. This will turn around. But then I got to a point doctors gave me not much hope at all. I basically could amputate the leg, live with the pain, or there was this cure that you couldn't even use in the United States. I could go to another country and have my brain reset, putting me in a coma on ketamine for 5 days. Yeah. So, none of these options sounded good to me, So being that I was a real spiritual person in my upbringing, I finally got to a point where I guess I lost confidence that gave up the hope that the medical community was going to help me. And this I'm going to use the word allowed because I believe it was a blessing. It allowed me to get into this surrendered state where I just reached out in prayer and asked God to take me or heal me. I said, I just can't do this life. This is just too big for me. And so after that moment, I had 2 miracles come in, and one was a video from my son. He was out, his beautiful wife, they were out hiking the Dolomites, and they used a drone to video it. And they created a YouTube video, and it was absolutely just breathtaking. And I started imagining myself out there hiking, and I got a little bit passionate about watching it. I'd start watching it day after day, kind of accidentally using visualization. I did not know about visualization at the time. And then the second miracle came in when an old friend that I hadn't spoke to in a long time, reached out to me. And when I caught her up with everything that was going on, she said, "Have you ever thought of trying energy healing?" She said, "I have an aunt who just did it and she cured cancer. Have you ever thought of that?" I said, "I'll do anything. Send the name and number." I started doing those things simultaneously. And within 3 months, I was not only miraculously completely healed, but I was healthier than I had been in my 20s. I had this very healthy, youthful energy about me that I just immediately transitioned into this gratitude. And it was like, I was I lived out on 20 acres. So I was just out, just walking these acreage neighborhood for 2 times a day. Every chance I could, I was out walking because it was just so thrilling to be walking again. So anyways, from that, I accidentally realized, not accidentally realized. I knew this had happened, and I'm like, how did it happen? I'm a very curious person. I like to understand things. And I just began grabbing all kinds of books and podcasts and learning about our brain and the brain waves and the state of mind we're in. I started learning about how our body is more empowered than we think and can heal itself, and our communication to our body. And I just started learning. And, my energy healer was also a very good resource because she was very awakened herself, and she was very in her own empowerment. And so she would provide a lot of those resources to me. And I was like a sponge, going, put my earbuds in, soaking up the material, going for walks. I was like, wow, it's like new lease on life. And it was really, really beautiful. But one of the big things I learned was in the energy healing, the reason I healed so miraculously is because when I released all the energies of shame, of being angry at myself, forgiveness, forgiving others, I just let go of all that baggage I was holding on to. My body, that and just the visualization and the communication that I started doing with it, understanding the empowerment is within me. I started talking, I am healthy. I am vibrant. I am happy. just the way I was communicating to myself was so different than before. Like, I am unempowered. I am depressed. I am, that. So
Mm-hmm.
such a shift. And this is how I experienced such a miraculous shift, accidentally in a way, because I wouldn't say that when I started energy healing, I knew nothing about it. So did I have faith in it? It wasn't faith in energy healing. It was faith in the way things started coming to me. It was faith in that. It was faith in that prayer, faith in reaching out to my oversoul, my higher self, my I am presence, the universe, God, whatever one identifies with. It was reaching out to a power that was higher or, stronger than myself. So,
Yeah. Wow. There's so much. I mean, there's, and then when you talk about, a literal, tow truck bringing you over, taking you out, I mean, you had an actual truck, it
right.
didn't tow you out. It actually crushed you underneath it. And for you, I love music, because you accidentally came upon this. And then once it happened to you, it's like, why did this happen? Right? Like, let me figure all this out, because there exactly what you said about, like, when we hold on to those heavier energies, that creates, even if you never got into a literal accident, when you have these negative emotions or negative thoughts, it causes dis-ease in the body. Like, I believe that a lot of people walking around not feeling well, it's their state of mind and how they talk to themselves and how they talk about their experiences and their thoughts. And it's like, it starts to eat away at this actual physical body. So unless you can start to open up to higher vibration, that's how the body can heal it, because the body can heal itself, and I'm so happy that, you had that, the medical come in and they did what they could, and they were offering you these different options, and you knew in your heart, like, those are not for me. And thank goodness, like, you didn't have your leg amputated or that, it's just like, that's, unfortunately, a lot of people put so much faith outside of themselves when it comes to health. They like want to listen to, other people. And that's great until until you do get to a point where, like, none of what you're offering me is helping me. So, let me see what else there's there.
I do like to say, with telling my story, that I believe that there is a place for the medical community. I do believe that if you're having a heart attack, you need those professionals. Or when I was injured and I was coming out from that injury, I needed those professionals for sure. So it's just all a balance. It's not giving something outside of you too much power, but also going within and understanding that the empowerment is within you as well. And you have your own story to tell. You have your, it's the medical community has a box. And so your story might not always fit. It might fit in the box in the beginning, but you don't need to stay there. You can move out of there and you can say, okay, what now? And I like to share a little bit more with the body and all those lower energies. When I started understanding that our body actually has chakras and we are vessels, we're energy and water, over 70% energy and water in our bodies. And so it's when that energy and water is flowing, free flowing in your body, that you are at your healthiest. If you can imagine a river, and a river is just flowing so beautifully, and then you get a bunch of kids or a bunch of people come in and they take some rocks and they throw them in the river. Now you have these rocks in the river. If they're to sit there for 10, 15 years, then if a cleanup crew came, they pick up the rocks are going to have moss and gunk and everything, because that water had to try to go under it and around those rocks, which caused that water to be not at ease, what we call dis-ease. It means that the energy in water is not flowing through us easily. So that right there is what causes illness. And those trapped emotions are all those lower frequency emotions. And once you release all of them, they all are the three lower chakras below our heart. So once you release all them, then the energy is flowing just so easily to your heart chakra. and it's in your heart chakra, the soul resides. So then you start to wake up to who you are, because this energy is just in your heart and that soul is pumping through your whole body.
Mm.
You start to tap into, wow, I'm big, I'm more powerful than I thought I was. I'm not just this little person on here just at the command of whatever happens to me. I can actually start to be my own creator, and I can start to have more power and more say in what I experience and what I create. And after that, then you start moving the energy even further, and it goes into the gateway into heaven. Our head is heaven. So the gateway is the throat chakra. So once we start speaking our truth and we start sharing our story, our hero's journey, we start sharing it with others, then we start to experience this blissful state, which is what one calls heaven on earth. And this is how, in that balance, we bring heaven on earth. And I just like to share with people, heaven and hell, it's all in you. It's all, and it's all up to you which one you experience.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. I'm a very visual person. So I saw all of that, what you were describing. It was just like, what a beautiful illustration of, and because the lower chakras, those are survival, more of our survival. Yes.
Of our evolution. So our root chakra is at the base. So first we had to learn how to survive, keeping ourselves safe and fed, everything that has to do with safety and security. After our root chakra is our sacral chakra. That's basically it's kind of where your sexual organs are. That's how we identify with ourselves sexually or intimately. It's where, a lot of the trauma from maybe parents or from, from just different wrongs to do with more intimate relationships, with the real close relationships. And then the next chakra is your solar plexus chakra. It's when the energy moves to your solar plexus chakra, which is in your stomach, you start to gain your own identity. You start to create this identity, which is kind of like the mask we wear here in this, incarnation and our storyline and everything, which is good for a while because all these things serve you at one time. But then there comes a time to release all that identifying with something outside of you. Nothing is outside of you. And that's when the energy gets into the heart chakra, to the soul. Then you start to identify with that higher soul that you split from when you decided to be the boots on the ground here in this game called life. You still have a higher version of yourself who has that very high view and can communicate your path to you, can communicate, and it's always speaking to you, whether you hear or not. It's always giving you numbers, signs, people, experiences. It's giving you just a myriad of things to help you know what your next step is. I like to liken it to that game, you play that game where it's one person maybe sits on a tower or stands on a tower, and the other person is blindfolded and they're trying to go through a maze, and that person's like going, okay, turn to your right now, grab the key. You need to grab the key and put it in the lock. It's kind of like that. We are in a way blindfolded down here because we don't have the big view. We just have our two eyes. Well, our higher self is in our intuition, which is the chakra here in the brow chakra. And that's what we call the third eye, the spiritual eye, the all-seeing eye. And they have the broader view. So they're giving you the carrot trail that you can grab along the way to what you experience here.
Yes. Do you ever have that moment where I was listening and there's so much that's coming, I'm like, and now I have nothing to say. No, because
prayer. To say.
No. I mean, you're speaking my language, so I'm kind of like, yeah, I get it. But for the people listening, I'm like, okay, now let's unpack this a little bit more. Yes. I love that blindfolded thing because, it is our higher self that knows why our soul wanted to come here, why the people are in our lives, what they're supposed to, they're for, and, giving us the signs to do what is in the best part of our soul's path. And if you're stuck in these lower chakra energies, then you see things possibly, but you don't know what they mean, or maybe you don't see them at all. I know I see a lot of things around me than most people do. And when I mention it, they're like, "Where? What? I don't see it." I'm like, "It's right there," But it's just a different vibration. They can't see it. They really can't. I can't physically see it but my question, if you want to go, if you know more about this, I'd love to get a little bit more, because I think, when people hear, well, let go of those emotions and let go of that, like, what are the emotions that are affiliated with these lower chakras that come up for us that those are the ones that we kind of have to look for? I mean, it's like, I kind of have an idea, but if you know a little bit more, because the root, right, that's our survival. And, could that be also like the sacral comes in? Is that more like the guilt and the shame over in that area too, because of maybe sexual repression, or we've been violated or taught things are kind of dirty and what we don't really understand all that?
Yeah, exactly. Unworthiness, feeling worthless, not feeling worthy of something better happening to you, unsupported, it's projecting outside of yourself. It's emotions. The lower vibrational emotions are anytime you are needing an emotion from something outside of you, something or someone, then if they don't give it to you, you could, that transfers into an emotion in the lower chakras. It can be anger. It can be bitterness. It can be heartache. It can be frustration. It can be shame. It can be longing. It can be lust. There's so many different emotions. And then, well, it traps differently. So the emotions trap according to the relationship with the person a lot, So in other words, a lot of times when at the root chakra, if your family didn't support you and you didn't feel safe and you never had money, then you would probably trap a lot of emotions on feeling fear around money, feeling fear around spending money. You might have parents who possibly always fought about money, and money was always a lack. And then you can trap that emotion. You can become an adult, and now you've got a great job. You have a savings account. Money is not a problem, but yet you could still have a program in your mind that's communicating from the body to the mind about lack of money. And so every time, you could be married now and the wife comes and says, I really want to go buy a new car. My car keeps breaking down. I really want to go buy a new car. And that could just trigger that trapped emotion from that program that was created from the parents always fighting over money and stuff. And it will just trigger this. If she buys that car, that might take all our savings. And now we don't have, and
yes,
yeah. So then the person comes at the wife. No, we can't afford that. Well, the wife doesn't have that program that she's running. So she'd be saying, well, what do you mean we can't afford it? We have savings account. We got plenty of money coming in. So then you get this disagreement. So then it carries on. You can have this ever rolling. Now you've got, this intimate relationship in the sacral chakra. And now he doesn't feel like, being intimate with his wife because she wants to take all his money.
Right. No. Yeah.
So once you pull that in and you realize you are the avatar in your game, you're the player. Nothing outside of you can affect you unless you allow it to. Once you start to gain that understanding, releasing the energy, which is it's forgiveness is what it is. You forgive your parents. You forgive them for that. They didn't know. They did the best they could. They didn't have a lot of money. So you forgive them. And as you do that, the same as if you get angry and then you'll feel a stomach ache, you feel a physical symptom.
Yeah.
You get angry, that when that energy block leaves, that symptom can go away. All of a sudden now, wherever it was trapped, however it was affecting the body, whatever it was creating with that gunk around and underneath, as the water couldn't flow through the body well and supply the body with the oxygen and the blood and everything it needs, it just releases. And that's how, when I healed, that's how I became more youthful and went back to feeling as, healthier than in my 20s, because I just let go of everything. And I started forgiving,
Yeah.
husband, forgiving parents, forgiving community members. You know, I could go on and on. Forgiving teachers who shamed me while I was in school, or, friends. You just, you empower yourself with this forgiveness, and you let the baggage go. And it just allows you to start moving. When you move into the heart, you will just automatically feel more empowered. You will just be like, that person just hurt me, but it's okay. You see it as their problem, not yours.
Yes. Yeah.
They're reacting from their lower chakra. Just kidding.
No. Yeah. Because you're not taking it personally,
Right.
It seems to me that coming into the heart, it's just a byproduct of you just being naturally able to, look beyond people's faults or their actions towards you. And there's, like you said, it opens up to your knowing of who you are and who other people are in literally as well, like in their core. I mean, this is, you're another soul in the body right now, but we're connected. We are part of like the one all, you're a different version of that being, that soul, the overall soul. You represent a certain thing. I represent a certain part of that, and we're all here together.
We're all a piece of the puzzle of humanity. Absolutely.
Yes, exactly.
We all need one another. Every puzzle piece is important. If you've ever done a puzzle and had a piece missing, we know we need all the pieces.
Yeah, it's so true.
If I can, I'm very visual too, and I like to share visuals to kind of explain something. But what I just spoke about, if I can just share one more visual, it's kind of like when you become the boots on the ground. You're the one who said, I'll come down to earth, I'll take the physical body, and you have a higher self who stays with the bird's eye view. Then what happens is, it's like if you can picture going deep sea dive, going scuba diving. Okay. You go down and you're going down into density. So, just the same as you need scuba gear, we needed to have a body. We only see through our two eyes. Our spiritual eye has to get unclogged to use it. And so we go down in density with all these supplies that we need to be here on earth. And it's kind of like if you were just out swimming around, enjoying your scuba dive, and going further and further away, but you have this cord connected with another version of yourself who said, hey, I'll stay up here and I'll keep an eye on what our goal is. Okay. I got it. And I'll keep communicating which way you need to swim and which way you need to go so that you're going the right direction. And so if you're going off the wrong direction and you're getting caught up in other scuba divers and what they're doing, and oh my goodness, don't do it that way, and you're just in that, and then that takes you further and further, then that cord, it becomes cluttered. You can't hear or see the signs or clear communication. So once you move into the heart chakra, and that would be swimming closer towards this higher version of yourself, your soul, once you do that, now you can start hearing them. And so when you have that energy flowing through your heart chakra, it's like that, those are those, what we call epiphanies. Maybe you wake up in the morning and you say, I really need to call Sally. I just have this idea, I need to call Sally. And then you call Sally and there's something Sally tells you really needed to hear, so it's through that, these little, or, I really need to go get my oil changed today. And then you go get your oil changes, happen to sit by this guy while waiting for your oil to be changed. And he is reading a book and the book looks interesting. So you decide to start reading the book.
Yeah.
There really is, these kind of synchronicities happening. A book out there called Synchrodestiny, which explains it so well. And it talks about how the synchronicities are like a little carrot trail towards where you're supposed to go and where what you really wanted to experience while you're here and what you wanted to create, and quit getting caught up in what other people are experiencing or trying to create.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. So what happens if you get that message of, all right, I need to go get my oil changed, right? And then you're like, I'm going to put it off. I'm not going to do it. I feel too tired. like, is that a lost opportunity, or does something else come down the line?
Oh, something else for sure comes down the line. Your higher self never gives up on you for sure. However, we'll tell you, you'll feel a nagging. It's like all of a sudden, if you're really supposed to get your oil changed because there's going to be somebody you sit next to that has some kind of message for you, and your higher self is really trying to get you to go there. You'll just keep feeling this nagging, like, oh, I don't know, I probably should, and so that's kind of one of your signs. When you just keep getting this nagging feeling, you should do something. I don't know. Everybody's had that. And then finally you go, oh, fine, I'll do it. Whatever. I'll just get it done. So I quit having this nagging feeling. So, however, if you really just ignored all those nagging feelings and you said, no, I just want to be lazy today, I'm going to watch my TV and I'm just going to hang out, definitely there would be something else that comes down the road. However, it does mean there's some kind of block that's got your cord cluttered, because if it wasn't cluttered, you'd just feel the energy to go do that. You just feel it.
Yes. Okay. All right. That's really interesting, because yesterday I texted my friend, because I just recently lost, my dad passed a few weeks ago.
Sorry.
And thank you. And her mom is transitioning right now. And so I just sent her a little text saying, hey, I've been, I'm thinking about you. And I really I didn't know where her mom was in the transition yet. And she got back to me. She's like, yeah, her breathing is labored now. And so, but it was just something that popped in, and I reached out, and I took care of that. And then I am having these nagging feeling so now you're going to get me to do some inner work, which I think I've been putting off, because nagging feeling to reach out to a friend who I feel like we've grown apart. And I am feeling a little resentment towards something that I feel like I need to speak about, but I really don't want to, because, maybe it'll uncap this, and I'm so much in my head right now. But if I go down into my heart briefly when I do this, it's like, you need to talk to her. But I'm like, no, it's going to be uncomfortable. I don't want to do it. Love
that you brought that up, because that brings in the visualization, because we can begin to visualize the end result that we want. So our subconscious mind, our subconscious mind communicates through the heart. That's the connection with the body. Okay. The subconscious. Okay. Our logical mind is our left brain that's on the hamster wheel, the doing. It's the human doing. The subconscious is the human being. Okay. It's the creator. So the subconscious mind does not know the difference between something that we feel with our five senses and something we are truly experiencing in our external world with our five senses. So if we were to imagine we're riding in a convertible and the wind is blowing in our hair, and we can really get ourselves in a state of mind that, oh, I feel that wind, that feels good. If we could do that, the subconscious mind does not know the difference of whether we are really riding in that convertible or whether we're visualizing and imagining ourselves riding in that convertible. So this is how my visualization ended up healing me, because my subconscious mind thought I was out hiking. So what does it do? It starts communicating to my body, hey, she needs to hike. She's visualizing hiking. So we got to get ourselves going here. We got to get all this leg working, and she's got to get healthier, and she hasn't walked in a while. So we got to work on this. And that's what it does. It starts to send communication to our cells, which are little mini brains, and everything starts to start healing. So you can accomplish that. So with your friend, or anyone out there who has something they want an experience, all you have to do is visualize the end result. So visualize, say, you and your friend embracing in a hug and experiencing this beautiful embrace with no contention whatsoever between you. And if you can get as many of your senses, your five senses, involved in that, and then you can just say, it is done. It is going to happen. This will happen. Your subconscious mind, the universe, will have no option but to deliver that to you. Now, the when, where, what, and how is the magic.
Right.
That's what makes here to experience. We came here to experience the where, when, what, and how. And so what will happen is the mind will start to get involved and go, no, you remember she was mad at you. No, 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 no. It's going to go. You have to quiet the mind. You have to tell the mind, you know what? It's done. It's done. And this is how we rewrite our timeline. This is how, because what happens if you want the little science in, I'll just give a little blurb. What happens in the brain is as I started visualizing myself walking in the Dolomites, my brain, and this is shown, you can look up brain scans on this. Dr. Joe Dispenza does a lot of brain scans on this, but my brain started breaking apart the network of the neurons that wire and fire together that were saying, you can't walk, you're stuck, you have to lay here, you have to do this. Those literally, you can see it in the brain scan, they start to break apart and they start finding other neurons to connect with. And a new network creates in the brain, which we call a program, saying, you can walk, you can do this, you can do that.
Wow.
And we can do that all through visualization.
Yeah, that's such empowerment.
It is. Oh,
right?
it is.
Yes.
There is a wealth of this knowledge out there. There's doctors, scientists. This is not just a woo-woo thing. This is a science. It's a balance of science and the spirituality. It's a balance of both of them brought together. It's beautiful. It's how we were created. It's what we came here experience. It really is.
It is. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for mentioning Dr. Joe Dispenza, because he's doing such beautiful work, because he takes the spirituality and the science and just explains this. So he's hitting upon many people's, how they take in information, right? The ones who want to know the science, and then the other ones are like, I don't care about the science. I just feel about the feeling,
Right.
And it's,
it's a whole channel with testimonials like mine, a whole channel of them, people who've miraculously healed. And, speaking of going and getting your oil change and seeing a book, I had the way his book, You Are the Placebo, before I healed, came into my external existence to know about, was so miraculous. It just like an ad that never comes up, an ad popped on my phone for his book. And it was the most random little notification. And I was like, You Are the Placebo. That sounds, because I was in this healing mode, and I'm like, I'm going to read that. That book was instrumental for me in my healing, instrumental to understand how my body operates and how it works. And so those are the kinds of things that I'm expressing that will happen once you start communicating, I am healed. I am, it's like, I am presence. I am healthy. Then what will happen is that the subconscious mind will just start to give you little nuggets everywhere that will help you and guide you towards that. And you're extremely passionate about it. That's when you're on the right trail, is when because the soul feels passion. It doesn't feel any lethargic or I don't want to do that. No, it's like you can't wait to do it. Can I even sleep tonight?
Right.
What people experience when they're in love. Because when you're in love, you're in the heart energy. So it's that when you fall in love with someone, you're, oh my gosh, my date's in 2 days. I don't think I'm going to sleep. I don't think I'm going to be able to eat. That's that same excitement that you'll feel for whatever your soul's trying to push you to do.
Yes. What comes to mind is the word vitality. I feel like that's when we're feeling our true vitality, that life force energy within ourselves. Like that's it.
For sure. I love that word. That was perfectly stated for that. Yeah.
Wow. I love this. Thank you for that little coaching. And
I don't know I think it's stuff you already knew. I don't know if it was coaching per se, but it was just putting it in a different language. That's exactly. Yeah, what's beautiful about these podcasts is sometimes you will just feel guided to watch something or tune into something. Once again, you are creating a platform for someone's higher self to say, bing, I'm going to drop this in your suggested videos to watch, right? Because I know what Tammy said, or, I know what about, and it's just the message you wanted to hear.
Mm-hmm.
That is what one calls answers to prayers. And if I may,
Yeah.
there's one other thing, when I was talking about how the energy just flows through your body, we have meridians that give our energy. They are in our hands, our palms, and in the bottom of our feet. And our bottom of our feet is so we can give back to earth. So that's why they say if you ground, take your shoes and socks off, and the hands, this is why you shake people's hands and hug and touch, and you do with your hands, you bake bread or you do something loving for someone to give. And you are literally giving that holistic energy in you to that person. And so it's not about just listening to those messages you receive for yourself to heal, but like you felt like you should call your friend who was, going through the experience that you felt guided to call. It's also so we can get those messages to be God's hands, to be that gift to someone through service. And service is when do unto others as you want done to you. Service is exactly how you get all that loving energy back from others.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. It would be kind of a conduit of energy to others. Yeah. I love using the visualization when I'm standing on the earth of bringing up her energy through my feet. And then I see it going through my chakras up, through my heart, and then up through my crown. And then I connect to my soul source up there and taking that energy, breathing that down back into the earth. So yeah, becoming this conduit of energy that gives and receives,
Perfectly explained it. We are vessels. That's why we are in the womb. We're in water. We truly are these human vessels, allowing those beautiful higher external energies to learn from our emotions and our experiences. And therefore it's an equal give and take. So that when it comes, when your energy goes up to them, giving them all your emotions, because they're not in a physical body, so they can learn from your emotions, and then they've got the higher view, so they gift to you, messages or clarity or understanding or the next path or, something.
Yeah.
This beautiful equal give and take that was it's very miraculously designed.
Yeah. It seems very natural when you become aware of it.
It does. But sometimes when we are in the lower fear energies and feel more like a victim, it's hard to think that way. So, and you never want to just take someone else's word for it. If this resonates with you, this message that we share here together, if it resonates, go explore, ask questions. This is a free will planet. If you don't ask questions, you're not going to receive the answers, because you get to experience what you want to experience. But if you'd like to know, like that's like me, I asked, okay, I know I healed. This happened. I'm walking. I'm healthy. I know this, but how did this happen? And I was just asking all day long, every day, how did this happen? So I'm just getting notification after notification and all kinds of signs coming at me from every different direction, because I was so passionate about wanting to understand how this all works, how this universe works, how our bodies work, how, this beautiful designed life that we're living, which I think is more like a game, truthfully, than it is. I do. I think it's just, it's kind of like a video game, and so yeah,
it's definitely, I
feel sometimes seriously is what I'm trying to say by that.
No, it absolutely that. I think I got that message when you said that. It's something we're having an experience of because we chose this, and it's part of our soul's growth, and we are so much greater than anything here, Right. So sometimes, when my dad was transitioning, I was thinking I wonder what it looks like. To me, what it would look like when a soul just leaves the body is almost like this huge explosion because it's like all this energy is packed into this dense body that's been kept in so many years. And like once it gets the permission to leave, it's just like, it's like this. It's almost like in my head, I see it's almost like when the universe was made, like that big explosion of just like.
Right. No, that's
release.
I like that visual. It's a very, very good way to visualize it. It's going back up with oneness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Engulfed in love. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When you were talking about the hands, I've been doing massage for over 30 years. I don't do it now. I do kind of different work with women, but when I was divorced, it's going 10 years from now, I was like, well, what can I do? So I'm like, I'll go back to massage. That's kind of what I knew. And I was doing a lot of massages and working for a spa. So like people would just come in and I got so depleted because like you explain, like I was, and my boundaries were kind of low too. Cause I was going through, the sadness and grieving the end of I was definitely in my lower chakras of fear, like how am I going to support myself and my daughter, like a lot, right? So the energy I was giving out, but then I was also touching people. So I'm like, I don't like your energy, but I have to work on you, so and I didn't really do enough work for myself to like clean myself off, and there were times where I was just got either sick or I knew that I had kind of like entities attached to me.
I went through that. I also, when at a time I do guidance readings, and I was doing guidance readings and I was absorbing a lot of the energy of the people I was connecting with energetically. And it's very real. Absorbing emotions is very, very, we are sponges, we can absorb an emotion if we don't have a good boundary energy block around us. So, that's a very good point, and you definitely got to fill your own cup. You have to put yourself first. You have to. That is, I'd say, the foundation to energy healing is recommitting to filling your cup, understanding that you didn't come here to be people's savior. You came here to be your own authentic self. Now, we can still, as we're guided, serve one another, but we also, just because you know something or you learn something or you're able to do something, it doesn't mean that you entrench on people's free will and think that the answers that are for you are also for that person.
Yeah.
You have to find that empowerment themselves. And if they find the empowerment in you, they're going to pull at your energy.
Mm-hmm.
And so it can be very draining. So it's very important that you set those boundaries, and you can do for others, but you do only what you're able to give,
Yeah.
So,
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's so important. And, to all massage therapists out there, if you can use discernment, it's really, if you can with your clients, I feel you should be able to, like there's some people that you just might not want to work on and you shouldn't have to,
You shouldn't.
Oh, but anyway, yeah. So that was an interesting time of my life. What you were speaking about the energy again, like I when they say, you listen, right? You listen to people and not think about what you want to say when they're talking.
Which is a good thing. It means
it's a good thing, except when you're doing these podcasts, because I need to ask you a question, but also I'm like listening and absorbing it. And then my middle-aged mind here is like, all right, it's all divinely, maybe no question needs to be asked. I think that's what it is. I think there's no question that needs to be asked there. Well, I do. I want to ask, let me go through my little list of questions here and just see, what do I have here? I think you might have answered this, but maybe just maybe this is a closure question is, what is one piece of advice you'd give to someone looking to follow a similar path to yours?
Oh, that's a fabulous question. I can only give one.
Whatever comes up.
Yeah. So, I like to encourage people, if you would like to start clearing your own energy, something you can do is start moving into gratitude. So start having gratitude for what you have already created. So for me, I was so focused on being injured that you don't always notice, I have a beautiful home, I'm safe, I have a beautiful family that loves me, I have food in the cupboard, I have money in the bank, or you don't always put your focus on all that around you is good. You only are focused on what you want to change or what's not working.
Yeah.
So in order to quit creating the illness and what you don't want to experience, because your thoughts are creating, they're sending signals out to create, you shift your focus from what's wrong and start noticing day after day what's beautiful in your life. And I like to encourage to do this through a gratitude journal. If you can every morning wake up and set the frequency to your day by writing for at least 10 minutes, set a timer if you want, just say, I'm just going to free write for 10 minutes. Everything I'm grateful for. You do that for about a week and you're going to find that you get in this heart energy and all of a sudden the timer goes off and you're like, stop, I'm going to keep going.
Yeah.
It truly is this beautiful flow and you're setting your frequency. And then the other thing it helps you do is when you get out and about, you start noticing what's beautiful in life. You start noticing the beautiful trees, the flowers, the sky, the weather. You have shifted your focus. And in that shift, the next thing I would really say, if you can add this to your morning routine, is just sit for 15 minutes, clearing that cord, quieting the left brain, and just for 15 minutes, just block everything out and just sit and be one with yourself and allow whatever needs to come through. Now I'll tell you, when someone starts doing this, the first 3 to 4 days are very hard. I have clients who say, day 1, done. It was hard. Minutes to sit is hard at first, but it's a new muscle. And so just like when you go to the gym, you have to say, I'm going to do it for 30 days. I'm not going to stop. It's kind of that. You have to just commit to 30 days. And after 30 days, you will look forward to that stillness. You'll look forward to what comes in. And then, and you'll just start to, through that gratitude and just switching that frequency and then just allowing those messages to come in after you've set that gratitude frequency, you will start to feel different. And those are great places to start.
Yeah. Thank you, Tammy. That's beautiful, beautiful advice. For me personally, I cannot start my day without my rituals, just because it's part of me now. And it's definitely worth the discomfort at the beginning.
It sets your frequency.
Yeah, exactly. It really does. It really does. And if I could add to your gratitude, have you ever read the book, The Magic?
No.
So it's a 30-day different things to do.
Okay.
And one of them that you have to do every day is what you said, the gratitude, writing down you're grateful for. But what it also suggests is, so usually I write, I am so happy and grateful for, and then the add-on is because. So it gets you into feeling of what does this bring to you?
Right.
So you're kind of connecting that, like, I'm grateful for this because, it brings me joy in my, seeing those, like one of mine is like watching, I am so grateful for the squirrels out in my yard because it brings me joy seeing them just jump around and, it fills my heart. So,
and that is so true. Like when you are stuck in feeling like a victim, you don't notice the squirrels and the flowers and your security. All you notice is your lack. And you don't realize that what you're doing is you're sending these signals out going, I want more lack. I want more lack. Give me more lack. When you start to shift that frequency, it's no different than changing the dial on a radio station. You are literally changing what you're going to bring in. Our mind is the receptor sending signals out, and our heart is the magnifier, being a magnet and bringing magnetism, magnetizing the experiences and the people and what we need to experience what we recepted out. So if you're recepting out lack, then what you're going to get is you're going to get more people in lack. You're going to get friends call you who are in lack and they have problems and they want to talk for 2 hours, and you're just going to be stuck because because you're literally stuck on a frequency with those people.
Yes.
You shift your frequency into gratitude and love and faith. You will move into a frequency with others in gratitude, love, and faith. And you're sharing a frequency with people who want to give to you as well, this beautiful energy. And it really is all frequency. Everything is energy.
It is. Yes, it is. It is.
Einstein said that, so you can look that quote up. Energy and frequency. Look it up.
Speaking of Einstein, in this book, I read that he also had a very intensive gratitude practice. And one of his things was he would say 100 thank yous every day. And so I figured out there's one block from my house to the next block, and we walk the dogs, is basically, I counted out, is 100 footsteps for me. So when I'm walking the dogs in the morning and at night, when we're on that thing, I just like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Love it. Yeah.
And you're right. I mean, it shifts so much. It really does. And, it's like, that what you focus on grows, right? So, where you want to put your focus on, your lack or your gratitude, and abundance, right? And love. And like that to me seems like a no-brainer.
Definitely.
Well, we've been talking for an hour. Can you imagine?
Yes, I can, because we've been in that frequency where there is no time.
Yes, it definitely felt like no time at all. I know I'm going to put in the show notes people to contact you, but if you want to verbalize and put it out there right now, please do.
Sure, I'd love to. Yeah, my website, I hope it should be linked there. It's tammy-brunson.com, and all my links to my social media are in the website. And I do offer a discovery call with anybody who wants to take that on, and you can tell me what you're trying to work on, and I just send you different plans that can support that. And if you're interested or feel pulled towards that, you are more than welcome. But I do have lots of content that is on social media that you can enjoy at your pleasure, and just really want to get my message out there that I feel, I'm in that throat chakra. I'm bringing it up so we can all meet in heaven and share that with anybody who will listen. I kind of joke that I'd talk to the wall if it would listen. So
yeah, well, I'm sure something's there is listening. Yes. Oh, well, you've been such a joy. Thank you so much. It's been, again, revamping this podcast it came back. It was a voice that said, do this, reach out for guests. And I just did it. And it's been a miraculous, amazing, beautiful gift. So bringing people like you that I would never have connected with had I pushed that aside, like, oh, I don't want to do that again. It's too much work. Yeah, exactly. So yes, I
send so much beautiful energy towards you as you work with this friend, and as you come to terms with your father and everything that happened.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. All right, love. Thank you so much. And we'll talk soon. Thank you.
Thank you.